What is the creepiest thing someone has said to you? This happened in the early 90s. I was around 12 to 13. I was walking my bike when a man pulled up in a truck and said my mother told him to pick me up and he would put my bike in the back of the truck. I have zero facial recognition, but even I knew he was full of it. Hopped on my bike and fled. He drove around a while, but I knew where to hide. When my mum called me a spoiled brat because I refused to go to India on an all-expenses-paid trip alone with our 45-year-old neighbor. I was 13 and he used to come over all the time and hold me hostage, just staring at me and telling me how beautiful I was. I was in art class and I was working with the quiet girl in school. After a couple of days of working in this project, she told me she was listening to porn. I didn't believe her, but when she gave me the other earbud, sure enough, it was aggressive porn. I was around 10 and home alone when I got a knock on the door. I asked who it was, and the answer was, a little girl, from what I presumed to be a woman based on the voice that sounded like she smoked 2 packs a day for 20 years. That answer, coming from such a voice, was enough to raise huge alarm bells even in my 10-year-old mind. My kid when they were 3. 1 a.m., wakes me up, "Mom. You're pretty. I think you'd be really pretty with no skin." Not scary/disturbing as other ones here, but when I worked in Uber I had a client who said, "What would you do if I shot you right now?" as he pulled out his pistol, cocked it and flexed it on me with his smug/psychotic smile. I had the new guy at work tell me he wanted to be an assassin. He didn't last long. How do you feel about being watched? Married guy asking me to come home with him to F at CK his wife while he recorded us. I bounced out of that coffee shop real quick. I like your ankle hair. When my twins were babies, people would always come up to me asking all kinds of questions about them. One day, a lady said, "You don't need 2 babies. You should give me 1. I really couldn't tell if she was joking or not, and didn't stick around to find out. I was a child and one boy got into a fight with me. Then he brought his uncle and asked him to kill me, because my mother is foreigner. Midsummer party at our friend's place. Their 2 neighbors came to chat for a bit while we were in the front yard. Never had seen these men, plus 50Y, before. Suddenly one of them said straight to my face, out of blue, that I should be shackled, naked, on top of a table and everyone should have a look. I was just stunned and didn't reply, just left the scene to indoors. Just creepy old fuckers. Had an ex-friend tell me that she thinks it's time for me to have kids and that she will spike my drink, fuck my unconscious body and get pregnant. She was serious, but even as a joke this is red flags to me. I was a cashier at a tobacco store. Homeless greasy guy came up to pay for a Swisher Sweet with sticky dirty change. He stroked the tips of my fingers as he handed me his money and said, "I like your fingernails," while he licked his lips repeatedly. That shit haunts my dreams. Let me suck your toes. A kid who was on the spectrum said it to me during a high school track meet right in front of me and my coach. We had a good laugh about it. Like 2 to 3 years ago I worked with quite a strange girl. She asked me how I would like to die. Being an active diver at that time I thought hypothermia or nitrogen narcosis or both is not such a bad option. She said to me, such a painless death. Little suffering in it, have you not thought of something more painful? Then she had quite a lot of jokes about how she wanted to hurt me, cut off my head, things like that. OFC, I treated this like a joke. Once I heard her talking to my manager that she was on depression medicines, sertraline. Maybe that was nothing, but there was something about her. I don't know, something weird, being 6 feet 3 inches 180 pounds and a girl who was 5 feet 4 inches 100 pounds scared me. I saw a lot of evil or strange people in my days, even criminals who were in prison for beating someone to death or even torturing someone, chopping hands off, but they didn't scare me like her. Very strange person, like just emanated evil. You could feel pressure when she was around. You have the most complex and beautiful brown eyes. From a dude in prison for murdering women and stealing their eyeballs. When I was about 15, we had a contractor doing work at the house, and one of the workers showed me a $50 bill and said, "This could be yours if you can get me a pair of your mom's dirty underwear." I needed the money, so I waited until my mom showered and took her thong panty from her laundry basket and gave them to the guy the next day. I was a high schooler working as the front hostess at a mid-level restaurant chain. My manager, early 30s, slowly came up behind me and said in a whisper in my ear, "I want to drink your bath water." I was 15. I will never forget that. I jumped out of my skin. He thought it was hilarious. What position have you been conceived in? Asked out of the blue by fellow student, who I have never spoken with before that, during my first year at uni. 1. Went on a short walk with a guy I met on Tinder. We were talking about our childhood, and I mentioned that I used to be a competitive swimmer. He stopped for a minute and asked, "I wonder if you could drown." 2. I used to work in a shop that sells kitchen apparel. A guy walked in and started staring at the wall where kitchen knives were hanging. After a short while I had to ask him what was he looking for. "A knife to kill myself here." I was alone, he was blocking the only entrance. He told me that he fell in love with a girl, she was 16, but her parents forbid him to come near her, he was around 40. He started telling me that I am too beautiful, so I must wear hijab. It took me 40 minutes of talking to get him out of the store. A guy I'd never seen before at the local park offered to suck my toes. A drunk lesbian in college told me if I was a girl, I would have huge beautiful tits and she would kill to suck on them. I wasn't and, indeed, still am not, sure how to take that.